my great privilege to convene the 2013 diploma ceremony for the School of Law of Case Western Reserve University, where we will be presenting diplomas to our graduates whose degrees were conferred by University President Barbara Snyder earlier this morning. We also welcome back those graduates who received their degrees this past January and August, who have returned to campus today to join us in these commencement celebrations. You will find the program for this ceremony on page 43 of your commencement program book. It is now my honor to present the Dean of the Law School, Lawrence Mitchell.
Congratulations, members of the class of 2013 and LLM class of 2013. You are now ready to become members of one of the world's most critically important professions. You've worked hard, and you've earned the opportunities that will be yours. But we have a fallacy in America, a myth, that all achievement is individual achievement. That's nonsense. You're here because you've worked hard, yes. But you didn't reach this day alone. Please take a moment to thank your parents, spouses, siblings, children, friends, teachers, and anybody and everybody else who helped you to reach this day. This is a day of celebration, but it is foolish to ignore the fact that you are entering our profession during a time of great turmoil. The legal profession is facing many challenges. Some of these challenges are economic, some technological. Some arise from the globalization and integration of our world economy, some from the collapse of stable tyrants and the rise of new but uncertain democracies, some from new threats to the peace and security of our own nation. Some of these challenges will affect you directly in your practice of law or the conduct of your business. Others will serve as the background against which you build your lives and your careers. The test for you is not whether you confront these challenges, but how you face them. Will you face them with dignity, grace, openness of mind and heart, humility, and generosity of spirit? Or will you turn from them in fear, arrogance, narrowness of vision and purpose, a rigid cast of mind, concern only for yourselves? We know the way the greatest among our profession have served. And serve is the operative word. For what you have worked for throughout your education, what you have achieved by reaching this milestone, is nothing less than the opportunity to serve. And to serve in a way that is unique in our society. For we are those who structure our society, protect our prosperity, turn the gears of commerce. We are the shield of the vulnerable. We are the architects of justice. We are the preservers of peace. We are the friend to those who have no friend. We are the guardians of justice when nobody is left to defend it. The work we do is the cornerstone of civilization. In all of this, we serve our society and our world in ways that are our special province. We are lawyers. The degree you have earned today is a credential that allows you to make a living. Despite economic turmoil, despite law school debt, all of you will, if you choose, make a living, and a good living at that. But anybody can make a living. You have chosen to make your living in the most noble and fulfilling way possible for a human being. You have chosen to make a living in service to others. There's no higher calling. There is no greater way to live. So I congratulate you on your achievements. I wish you the greatest joy and satisfaction in your work, your lives, and your families. But I also thank you. I thank you for, by joining our profession, you have committed yourselves to preserving and building for all of us the greatness that is our state, our nation, and our world. You have accepted the trust that we today place in your hands. You have taken upon yourselves the burden of responsibility for our way of living that all of our citizens place upon you. Congratulations for all that you have done. Thank you for all that you will do. May you be blessed in your lives and your work. Before we go on, I'd like to acknowledge several guests with us on stage this afternoon, in addition to our wonderful faculty and staff, with all of whom you're familiar. Joining them are 3 members of the School of Law Visiting Committee: Byron Krantz, class of 1962, Fred Watkins, class of 1968, and Jim Kohler, class of 1973. Byron, Fred, and Jim, thank you for being here. Thank you for your friendship, your dedication, and your support of the law school. Please stand. And now it's my real pleasure to introduce a great friend. Renee Snow, class of 1997, the president of our law school's Alumni Association.
Dean Mitchell, members of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law faculty and administration, distinguished guests, graduates, and families. As president of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law Alumni Association, it's my honor and pleasure to congratulate you on receiving your Juris Doctorate degree and also to officially welcome you to the Law Alumni Association. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines alumnus male and alumna female as 1, a person who has attended or graduated from a particular school, college, and/or university, and 2, a person who is a former member, employee, contributor, or inmate. Ouch. As alumni plural, you're certainly former members and contributors to the law school community. As you walk across the stage today and receive your diploma, you join exceptional jurists who preceded you as graduates of our great law school. As you follow their footsteps to become public interest attorneys, corporate or solo practitioners, judges, legislators, law professors, I sincerely hope that you will follow their example of being active in our Alumni Association, of continuing to be a member and contributor to this community. The origin of the word alumni is found in the Latin from the mid-17th century, meaning foster son or pupil, from the root alira, meaning to nourish. The Alumni Association is your law school family, providing the opportunity to continue your engagement with the law school with fellow alums by being involved in the admissions process, serving on the academic committee, mentoring, development. Alumni interview prospective students, coordinate activities, and here in Cleveland, indeed across the country and overseas. Alumni from coast to coast serve on Alumni Association committees and the board. We welcome you to join us to nourish future alums and each other. Over the years, it's been my pleasure to speak with students and share my experiences from law school and as a criminal prosecutor. To be successful and respected in the legal community, you need empathy, clear thinking, and to remember that the civil and criminal systems only work if there are good people on both sides. Always remember that once you're sworn into a jurisdiction, first and foremost, you're a member of the court. You're an officer of the court. The coming months will be filled with studying for the bar and settling into life after school. You've received an outstanding legal education. You have the ability to make significant impact on your communities, and I'm confident that you will. I look forward to working with you on the Alumni Association, to seeing you at the November meeting and luncheon, and again, please accept my sincere congratulations, both personally on behalf of the Law Alumni Association. Thank you.
I've taught probably most of the this class, and I've gotten to know a lot of the rest of you in my role as academic dean. So on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, I congratulate each of you on your graduation. It has been an honor to have all of you as students at our school. We are very proud of your outstanding achievements, both in and out of the classroom. We are confident that you will excel in your professional careers and will continue to contribute a great deal to your communities. I have the honor now of presenting the Order of the Coif. The Order of the Coif originated in 15th century English Inns of Court to honor the best barristers. It was started in this country by a handful of law schools over 100 years ago to honor the top students in each class. We honor those members of the class of 2013 who are graduating in the top 10% of their class. When I call your name, please rise and remain standing. Please, to the audience, hold your applause until I call the last name. Joseph Michael Barrett, Jeffrey William Bizak, Robert David Sharon, Andrew James Clark, Sarah Michelle Karate, Daniel Thomas Falk, Isaac R. Figueres, Matthew Carl Grasshoff, Christina Lynn Peterson Greer, Andrew Paul Goran, Paul Louis Janowicz, Nelson Robert Lease, Amanda Catherine Malley, Emily Vale Myers, Kyle Jared Miska, Lauren Mackenzie Page, Daniel Thomas Pashada, Benjamin Lee Ristow, Gregory Peter Scholand, Leslie Jane Schaefer, Payne Thomas Tadich, Aurelia Tunru, Daniel Isaac Verkman. Congratulations to all of you. Please refer to pages 46 through 48 of your program book for a listing of those graduates receiving their degrees with a specialty concentration. Pages 49 through 52 list those graduates who have been recognized for their academic and extracurricular excellence with special awards and honors, as well as the Professor of the Year and Administrator of the Year awards. Also, the program insert contains a listing of those students graduating with honors. One award included in the program insert is the Cum Studiis Tum Moribus Principes Award, which is presented by the Society of Benchers to a member of the graduating class who is eminent in academic work and character. This year's award recipient is Gregory Peter Scholand. Greg, please stand. Congratulations. It is also my privilege to recognize this year's Student of the Year and Student Leadership Award winners. The Student of the Year Award is given to the graduating student who, in the judgment of classmates, best exemplifies outstanding scholarship and excellence in extracurricular activities. This year's Student of the Year Award recipient is Trevor Joseph Hardy. Trevor, please stand. Each year, the graduating students honor through School of Law Leadership Awards those students who have made significant contributions to student organizations and fostered community within the school. Please hold your applause until after I've called each name, and as I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Trevor, you're on again. Trevor Joseph Hardy, Michelle Renee Reese, and Joshua Thomas Williams. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Trevor Hardy, the outgoing president of the CWRU.
Good afternoon. My name is Trevor Hardy, and for the last year, I've had the privilege of serving as president of student government here at the law school. In addition to the awards presented by Dean Enton, it is my honor to recognize the recipients of several other awards. The first award is the Martin Luther King Jr. Award, and is given to a student who, in the judgment of classmates, follows in the character and conduct of the spirit of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. This year, that award goes to Nelson Robert Lease. The awards for community service are given to an individual and to an organization that have made the strongest contribution to public service. We have also chosen the legal profession, which is a service career. The law school recognizes that this class has continued a strong tradition of showing the commitment to helping those who are less fortunate than we are. The volunteer work in which many of you have engaged is an inspiration to all of us here today. This year's award for community service for an individual is actually presented to 3 individuals in the graduating class. First, Ruchi V. Asher. Please stand. Sarah Marie Honig. And Hope Liu. Additionally, we recognize one student organization that has gone above and beyond and given back to the law school and the Cleveland community. This year, by a ballot of the graduating class, that award goes to SPILF, the Student Public Interest Law Fellowship. Congratulations to all of you who have contributed your time to SPILF during the past year and during your past 3 years in the law school. Thank you. One final thing, the law school's 3L class got together this year and worked on a class gift, which is giving back $1,690.96 to the Student Interview Travel Fund, which assists current first year, second year, and incoming first year students who travel for interviews in the upcoming year or 2 years, depending on how long the fund lasts. So thank you to all of the students who donated to that and to the alumni sponsors that we had to help us with that as well. As you'll note in your program, I've been tasked with giving the farewell address to this class. And as my parents can attest, I'm not good at change and I'm not good at saying goodbye, which is why my remarks today focus on our connections to one another and to the university as a whole. Law is a career focused on service, and my sincere hope that this isn't a farewell, but a chance for me to say see you again soon. It's true that once we leave today, we are all alumni, but many of us will remain in Ohio, and those of you who choose to leave will always have a place to stay when you come back. While the past 3 years have been challenging, we have all become stronger individuals, capable of facing anything that we face in the future, whether it's the pressures of a new job or the uncertainties of what we will do next. While these are valid concerns, I hope that you're able to remember all of the good times you've had at Case Western. I know it's been stressful, but over the past week, I think many of us have been able to look at one another and realize how much fun we did have here, not always in the classroom, but out doing things for 3L week and different events throughout the year. I remember the first time I met many of you during orientation and during our first year of law school. Whether it was Blackacre having lunch with Rico Barrera and Zach Griffin, or out to dinner with Jess Lordi and Lauren Solari, there were many times we all got together and got to hang out and do stuff outside of the classroom. We've all made friends during these past few years, and some of you have met your spouse and even married them during the past 3 years. Sitting downstairs in this hall 3 years ago, we sat together, stood up and said our names, and for the first time we were introduced to one another. I know that I'm not alone in saying that I found some of the best friends that I could have ever hoped for when I came here. And while we've all put in countless hours in order to walk across this stage today, the audience that surrounds us clearly demonstrates that none of us did this alone. For most of us, this day marks the completion of at least 20 years of formal education. Our drive to succeed and take on new challenges started long ago and was spurred on by our parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, and other loved ones. I'm fortunate enough to have my parents in the audience today, and their sacrifices are one of the main reasons that I'm up here today. I hope you have all taken the time to thank people in your life who have supported you and helped make your success possible. In addition to our loved ones, an administrator or professor has touched all of us at some point during the past 3 years. That can be Dean Polly, who was willing to drop everything she was doing to answer a question or move your exams if you got sick, or in my case, had surgery during finals. It's a professor like Katie Mercer, who's always willing to give advice and invites her students to her house for karaoke and a potluck twice a year. It's also professors like Laura McNally, who train us to enter the profession, but leave their door open all the time to hear about our day or to make sense of things when we just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The men and women on this stage behind me have given up so much so that they can teach us and guide us in preparation for our day today on graduation. Growing up, I can remember my father telling me that to whom much is given, much is required. My siblings all chose careers in public service. One of my sisters is a nurse practitioner, another is an educator who works with children with autism, and my youngest brother is preparing for his first deployment to Afghanistan as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. While some people eagerly accept unflattering stereotypes of lawyers, we're in a unique position to exemplify the drive to serve our communities that is so characteristic of thousands of attorneys across the United States. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many lawyers are on the boards of charities and religious and civic organizations all across the United States. Law is a career focused on service, regardless of whether you're joining a large or small firm, leaving to join the military's JAG Corps, or focusing your career on a government and public interest opportunity. We can all take the skills we have learned and use them to improve our communities. Every graduate in this room has given some of their time to the law school and the Cleveland community during their time here, whether it's through the work in a school-sponsored organization or giving back through myriad other examples of how you have given your time to the community during the past 3 years. Ensuring that we continue to give back during our careers will do so much to change our communities for the better. When you leave here today, I hope you remember to serve and to treat other people with respect, regardless of their perceived status. We leave here equipped with specialized skills to make the world a better place, whether in Cleveland or halfway across the world. Honestly, for me and for most of you, today is bittersweet. We have all invested so much into the last 3 years, and today we realize one of the results of our very hard work. However, many of us, the future remains uncertain as we look toward preparing for the bar exam and starting a new job or continuing to look for employment. Law school has taught me so many things, chief among them how fortunate I am, and truly how fortunate all of us are to be surrounded by people who love us and care for us. If you continue to draw on those sources of support in the coming years, whether they're seated in this audience or on the stage behind me, and even if they weren't able to make it today, I have no doubt you will succeed in all that you do. Had you told me 4 years ago that I would be on this stage in Cleveland, Ohio, getting my law degree in 2013 and giving a speech to you, I would have told you you're crazy. Fortunately, life has a way of sending us down paths we don't always expect, and right now I could not imagine being in a better place. Congratulations, and I wish all of you the best of luck. Thank you.
It's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Judge Christine Vanden Weingart, who received the University Honorary degree this morning, and will say a few words to us this afternoon. I met Judge Vanden Weingart a year ago when she delivered the law school's Class B lecture in Human Rights, a critique about victims' representation at the ICC, which from Cleveland literally set off an international debate. A former law professor, Judge Vanden Weingart is the only person in the world to have been a judge of the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and the International Criminal Court, where she will serve through 2018. She received her PhD from Brussels University and now has the Doctor of Laws from Case Western Reserve University. Please join me in welcoming our new alumna, Judge Christine Vanden Weingart.
It is a great honor for me to address you at this law diploma ceremony. Let me start by congratulating all of you, the graduates, the parents, the professors, and the law faculty who made this all possible for you. I'm truly impressed by this magnificent 2013 class and the rich geographical mix of you. Today is for many of you your first big achievement, and I'm sure it's not going to be your last. Soon you are going to join the ranks of the myriads of lawyers that society needs in all the variety of the various legal professions. And the multicultural background of this class will certainly enrich you and will be an enrichment of your professional and personal life. Many of you will be networking, and some of you may find yourselves as colleagues in international institutions or multinational corporations. Yours is a shared future, but also a future of shared responsibilities. I was where you are now a bit under 40 years ago. My world, like yours today, was one full of challenges and uncertainties. Your generation, the millennials as you are often called, are uncertain about this world, the post-9/11 era, the Arab Spring turning into winter, the banking crisis, etc., etc. But this is not new. My generation was the same. In my time, we were very worried about the uncertainties of our time. The Vietnam War, the dictatorships in Latin America and in Europe, the oil crisis. So this is nothing new, and it's something that you have to take as your big challenge. Because the problem that we all have at your age, you have it as I had it in my time, is that the temptation towards cynicism is very great in view of the challenges that society is posing before you. And here lies your big challenge, because with the diploma that you are receiving today also comes a responsibility, and it's a responsibility to commit yourself to progress. It is the common responsibility of those who, like you, have had the privilege of receiving higher education to commit themselves to progress. Progress, I'm now quoting Condoleezza Rice, progress is the concerted effort not of cynics, but of visionaries and optimists. You must be patient with the world as it is, yet you should never lose sight of the world as it should be. And with hindsight, many of the things that are obvious today looked very problematic when I had your age. Take my own example. It happened in my own life, and I know it will happen in yours. What counts is to have a dream and to go for that dream. When I had your age, I was dreaming of international criminal justice. It didn't exist. It was, well, a faraway, politically unrealistic thing that there would be one day an international criminal court. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue in the 1990s, the International Court, Yugoslavia Tribunal, and then the International Criminal Court were created. And to make things even more fantastic, I became a judge in that court. I'm sure the same will happen to many of you. So my message to you is, live up to your dreams and the world will change. You are living in one of the most exciting times in history. With this diploma, you are ready for the world. Retain your intellectual curiosity. Be mindful that education does not stop with the diploma you are receiving today. Be confident, be committed, not only to your own self-improvement, but also to making this a better world. I wish you best of luck to all of you. Thank you for your attention.
When I asked Erich Spangenberg to be our commencement speaker today, he said to me, if you would poll the class of 1985 and ask who someday was going to be commencement speaker, I'd come in dead last. Well, Erich, everybody makes mistakes. Erich Spangenberg is an extraordinary human being. The privilege that I have of being your dean is not only knowing you in law school, but getting to meet so many of you who graduated so many years ago. And to meet someone like Erich Spangenberg is really to put your whole life in perspective. Erich is a visionary, and I use that word not lightly. When J.P. Morgan was asked why he did what he did, he said, I wanted to rationalize American industry. When I asked Erich Spangenberg why he does what he does, he told me, I want to rationalize the chaotic market for intellectual property. Some entrepreneurs invent products, Some entrepreneurs create institutions. Erich Spangenberg is creating an institution that will change the way our business is done. Not too many people can say that. Erich is also extraordinary in another way. And in this I include his wonderful wife Audrey and his son Christian. Within 5 minutes of meeting Erich, I asked him for $2 million. Within 6 minutes, he said yes. What I saw, and have seen since, is what is extraordinary about the Spangenbergs is they work to give. 10 generations of Spangenbergs can retire from hence on based on Erich and Audrey's success. What an incredible insult that would be to them. And I'm fairly sure they'll set things up so that can't happen. The Spangenbergs believe in giving, not just through the work they do professionally, but through the charities and foundations that they fund and create. They work so that our lives can be better. They work for the sheer joy of being able to fund neonatal units, to finance primary and secondary education, to give to universities, to make things happen. This is extraordinary. And so I introduce Erich Spangenberg not only as your alumni brother, but as my friend, Erich Spangenberg.
Do you mind if I take this off? Yep. Thank you, Dean. And thank you all of you for inviting me and my family here today. It's a good afternoon for you all. You should all be very proud and very excited. The short version of my speech is that stuff happens and embrace it. I'll give you the longer version now. I did not attend my law school graduation, so it's nice to be able to come back and see this one. It's actually pretty cool from this perspective. So, y'all are graduating into a relatively uncertain times in the legal market, and I hope that you'll embrace it and make the most of it. It's to those of you who've worked hard and gotten great jobs with, law firms, industry, public defender offices, whatever, what a great accomplishment in this environment. You should be very, very proud of yourselves. To those of you who are doing something else or not even sure what you're doing, I hope to share a bit of insight with you. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and did not meet my first attorney until I was in my teens, and even then I didn't really know what he did. And in my world, growing up, the well-to-do were teachers and people that owned restaurants and gas stations. What we call rich today didn't exist near me. I'm certain the top-paid families where I grew up made less than half of what a first-year associate makes at a big firm today. I didn't even hear the word entrepreneur until I was well into my 20s. My parents and family were unbelievably supportive of me, but it's impossible to guide somebody who doesn't know where they're going, and that was me. I had a barely passing average in high school and was very fortunate to get into the University of Delaware without my high school degree. I nearly failed out my first year at the University of Delaware because I had no study skills, and I foolishly took courses like biology and chemistry because I didn't know what logic, economics, and statistics were. Fortunately, after my first year, there was a school in upstate New York, Skidmore College, that desperately needed male students in order to build a sports program, and so they recruited me, and I went there. Once I got there, I started to get it. The lights started to go off that you actually had to work and study and what all that stuff meant. And plus, there were a couple of professors that took an interest in me and taught me that my aptitude really wasn't in chemistry or biology, but it was in economics and math. After that, I caught another break, and I was accepted to study for my master's at the London School of Economics in London, and it was just an unbelievable experience for me. After studying economics and socialism, sitting at a desk that Karl Marx used, and studying early versions of gaming theory, I was convinced that I got over my fascination with socialism and was convinced I wanted to become a rare metal earth trader. It was a land acquisition with a trading company, and a few months before graduation, that company filed for bankruptcy. In an absolutely full-scale panic, I applied to 2 law schools, Case and one other, and I barely got into Case. I applied late, it was just awful. But in any event, I was happy and bitter that I got in all at the same time. By the time I got in, there were no scholarships left. I already had a ton of student debt, and I was about to incur a ton more. I liked the idea of attending law school, but actually attending it wasn't all that much fun for me. I did well, but I never really understood why I had to take courses, and not to pick at anyone in particular, like con law, civil procedure, and I just had no interest in any of them. It just made absolutely no sense to me. Turns out, now that I'm a little older and I look back, I was wrong. What it was a method of learning, and that's what those classes were about. Chances are, you'll never use them from this day forward. Maybe diplomas. And I know y'all probably had your favorite professor. My favorite was one that really intimidated me, and it was tough to intimidate me. I didn't come to law school just fresh out of school. Had actually done a couple other things, and Professor Katz, remember the first few classes, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to last here. I just don't like this. And the criminal law, another subject I had absolutely no interest in. So he sat me down in his office about 2 weeks into the semester and said, hey, I get it, you're a smart guy. He goes, but you are not focused. And he goes, you're accustomed to doing mathematical calculations where you quickly get to an answer and move on. He goes, that's not what you're doing here. Incredibly helpful and got me through my 3 years here. Whenever I'd see Professor Katz, I only took criminal law for the one, he would just look at me and smile and say, hey, did you learn anything new today? And it was just sort of those types of nudges that kept me going through school. So for that, I thank you. So after 3 years at Case, I could not wait to get started, and I accepted a position with Jones Day in Dallas. I was absolutely fascinated and completely baffled by the fact that anyone hired me because I really didn't know anything. I remember the first day on the job, I got hooked up with this one corporate partner, and he handed me a merger agreement, told me to mark it up, wasn't really even sure what he meant, but grabbed it, locked myself in my office, stayed up all night trying to figure it out. It didn't help staying up all night, and he just brutalized it the next day. Next day I come into work, and he says, hey, and he was actually very cold and famous for being very abrupt. He said, I'd like you to bring in your law school diploma. I foolishly asked why. And he goes, because I want to confirm you attended law school. And I was like, so he was, his name was Bob Profusik, actually, he's a good guy, and he just pushed my buttons and drove me crazy, and so I made the horrible mistake of vowing to make partner at Jones Day. So put my head down, billed thousands of hours, worked on some pretty cool projects, but it was not sure it was the right step. In any event, on my class of 55 original, I think 3 of us made partner at the end of the day, and when I finally made partner, I was moved to this huge office, and I was convinced that I'd arrived. I mean, it could not get any better for some kid from Buffalo to be a partner at Jones Day. Couldn't get any better. Called my mom up the day I made partner, and I said, hey mom, I made partner. And she's like, wow, I'm surprised. And I said, well, why mom? And she said, well, your father and I just assumed you were not very good at your job because you never go to court. I gave up explaining what a corporate lawyer was that day. So it's, you keep zipping through life. And about 3 months after I made partner, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Good partner. She's with me here today. But it's stuff like that, and that's what I meant earlier, stuff happens. It's stuff like that that made me rethink my life, that I really want to be a partner in a major law firm and work 2,500 hours, 3,000 hours a year. And so I started to doubt it, and with my wife's support and my 2-year-old son's support, they said, fine, if you want to be an investment banker, knock yourself out. So I go from a $350,000 a year job to a $60,000 a year job with no guarantee or bonus. And it was a time I had $100,000+ of student debt, just jumped in. The decision made was that what I wanted so desperately to make partner really held no future allure for me after I'd made it. It just completely said that all these circumstances are lining up such that I've got to get out. If I don't get out now, I will never get out, and I'm so happy I did. Not that there's anything wrong with being a law firm partner, it's awesome, but it wasn't for me. So off to Wall Street I go, learn a lot about finance, and the first year works out really well. And as luck would have it, a telecom company came to me, this was mid-1990s now, and asked me to run mergers and acquisitions for them. There was no hotter area. This was sort of going to be the peak of my career, and I just jumped on it. My stock options became worth a fortune. Life could not get any better. And in fact, it got so good that they named me CEO. And on that day, the market cap went up over $1 billion, which was not a lot today, but in the 1990s, that was a big deal. So about this time, we get sued in a couple of patent cases. I am the only lawyer there, so the GC was focused on telecom and didn't know anything about patents, and so I got stuck handling that. I was fascinated by the process and just sort of filed it in the data bank and moved forward. We're about 2 months into my CEO-ship, and the company's forced to announce a huge earnings miss, just staggering, like 50% off. The stock tumbled, and I thought the world couldn't get worse, and it got worse. A month after this, the company was sued by every class action lawyer in the country, including me. A month after that, the auditors resign. A month after that, the SEC comes in to investigate. And a few months after that, the company declares bankruptcy. So, not surprisingly, I get fired as CEO. And I was fortunate enough to go to work for my wife. Due to her health, she was unable to do the traditional corporate thing, and so she made a number of small investments, including in a property management company. And she encouraged me to work with her for a little bit while I got back on my feet. Going back to my beginnings, I collected rent and cleaned apartments, and then eventually started consulting. A few months of that cleared my head up, and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I slowly started climbing out of the financial hole I had dug for myself. By 2001, things were better. I was back trading and working as a consultant, but not something I really wanted to do. Another opportunity comes along. I've started investing in internet companies. By 2003, they're all broke. It was just the worst time to be an investor. And even public companies were trading at less than cash value, meaning that their market cap, that their cash they had in the bank exceeded their market cap, which is an anomaly we'll probably never see again. So I helped a friend of mine launch a tender offer for a company. He was successful. He had a $6 million payday as a result of that. And because he kind of felt bad for me, he agreed to sell some patents to me, actually to my wife, because I didn't have much money. But in any event, we got some patents. So I jump on a plane and start flying around the country looking for somebody to manage that asset for me. I wanted to go back to trading. It was something I was good at, and did not want to spend my time managing lawyers and reading patents and things like that. After a couple weeks on the road, I realized the service didn't exist. There were lawyers out there who would help you, but no one who could handle it and manage it like the business asset that I recognized that it would be and certainly would become. After this, I formed a company and hired one other person, and life is starting to be good again. About 6 months into that, GM decides to sue me. At the time, the largest company on the face of the planet. And after beating me up for about 6 months, we finally got that one. We got that one resolved. So fast forward a little longer, we're jetting into 2004. And you probably haven't seen them, but if you read any blogs from 2004 to 2009, a few today, I was absolutely despised. Their companies were just universal in their hatred for me, and it was sort of a fun time. What they didn't understand was part of the plan. My plan was to market ourselves as not lawyers. That was the firm's idea, and take over the IP monetization market. So what I mean, so how do lawyers market themselves, right? And watch this when you're out there. It's smart, hardest working, and a bargain, okay? I thought I was smart, but I for sure knew I wasn't the smartest. I worked hard at Jones Day, and I knew I didn't want to go back to doing that, and the last thing I wanted to be was a bargain. So we go out to the market, and we start pushing it, and the market's just not understanding what we're doing. Then fast forward into 2008, and I had the pleasure of dealing with this judge that absolutely hated me and tried to retire me. It was an ugly week, and I was a bit down that week, but not for long. What I didn't realize is by painting me as the worst person on the face of the planet, she provided me publicity and marketing that I couldn't otherwise afford. It was amazing. And she actually helped me, because what happened was the inventors and the patent owners began believing that we were the ones doing something different, and treating the asset completely differently. Our phones have never stopped ringing, and I actually thank this judge who retired me. She actually made me. Today at IPNAV, we're about 70 people around the world, and we're some of the largest corporations, universities, and foreign governments, and helping them manage their IP issues. My wife and I love to launch startup companies, and we have over 400 people that work for us. Great. All right, you say, that's nice. What does that have anything to do with me? Okay, so here's the deal. Whether you graduated first in your class or not, or last, you have been given the tools to work with. Admittedly, you probably need a little training on how to use the tools, but trust me, you have them even if you don't know it. So don't be told by anyone that you have to follow this linear path to success. For the vast majority of us, it's not how it works, and it's far from linear. So, process. What would I do? Early on, maybe today, maybe after you take the bar and you're a little bit more relaxed, you define what success means for you. It might be money and fame. That's great. Do not apologize for it. It might be helping people who are absolutely no chance in our society. I'm all for that. It might be accepting a position as a document review lawyer until something better comes along. Perfect. Those are your goals. Set them, live with them, and embrace them. Then be honest with yourself and take every one of your life's experiences and build on them. It's a path to success. You heard it this morning. I'm telling you it's true. In a few years, go out, rethink your goals, and your goals may change. Be ready. Life's probably going to throw you a few curveballs, and you got to be ready for them, and you got to understand what to do with them when it happens. I mentioned the uncertain legal market. Uncertainty can really be uncomfortable. I think the dean used the word turmoil. I'm sure we're in turmoil yet, but for sure uncertain. And as any good economist will tell you, in uncertainty you have a great opportunity to make good of it and to make opportunity out of it, because it's classically a time for opportunity. You can lament, you can learn the conditions, you can endeavor to take advantage of them and make something from it. This legal market that y'all are jumping into is going to undergo a massive change in the next 5 years. Be the one to figure it out and capitalize on it. Law firm model is completely changing. And so, bottom line is, embrace it and set your goals. You're probably going to get knocked down. When you do, get up. It's a wonderful experience. And don't let anyone define success. Failing is part of the success, and you need to do it. It's really special when you fail it. And if you fail, at the end of the day, so what? If you're fortunate to have another opportunity to try to succeed, I fundamentally believe that failure teaches success, and you can't fear it, you have to embrace it. And remember, uncertainty is opportunity for y'all. Best.
Well, you heard it. We're now ready for the presentation of diplomas.
Dean Mitchell, faculty, and honored guests, it is my great privilege to present the class of 2013 graduates who have received the degree of Juris Doctor. Those graduates who have earned their degrees with honors can be identified by the honor cords over their lapels. Gold for summa cum laude, silver for magna cum laude, and white for cum laude. Sana Ahmed. Caitlin Beth Anderberry. Maria I. Anderson. John Calvi Antal. Kyle Anthony. Ruchi Vikram Asher. Thomas Harry Au. Lauren Don Bailey. Kevin Edward Barcelo. Federico Gomez Barrera III. Erica Lynn Belden. Laura Catherine Belden. Brittany Antoinette Bennett. Franklin Seaton Bennett III. Joseph Michael Barrett. Laura Marie Bertram. Christopher Brian Best. Jeffrey William Bezak. Stephanie Renee Blind. Courtney Jean Blowers. Erwin Singh Brach. Randall Christopher Bray. Samantha Allen Breakstone. A.J. Beulah. Danielle Erin Caldwell. Colin Bronder Campbell. Russell Cody Caskey. Christopher Lee Casamiti. Hunter Gordon Cavell. Jennifer Jean Chanou. Robert David Sharon. Natalie Chung. Andrew James Clark. Brian Edward Cobb. Kyle Christopher Colonna. Travis J. Copenhaver. Sarah Michelle Parati. Sarah Ashley Cotterill. Anna Claudia Coughlin. Claire Nicole Davis. Kevin Arthur Dayton. Wen Hao Ding. Devreen Alvina Dixon. Sarah Ellen Duke. Lauren Jean Fallbeck. Daniel Thomas Falk. Jessica Elise Field. Isaac R. Figueres. David J. Finder. Brian Thomas Fink. Abraham Hanan Folberg. Noah Kelly Fowle. Brian Francis Frances. Joshua Aaron Friedman. Danielle Renee Fritz. Michael Lawrence Gableman. Ryan Jeffrey Garman. Mark Jeffrey Garrett. Amy Michelle Garrison. Erin Elizabeth Garvey. Samantha Chase Gainey. Dustin David Godenswager. Emily R. Granis. Matthew Carl Grasshoff. Christina Lynn Peterson Greer. Stephen Belboot Gregorio. Zachary Jason Griffin. Andrew Paul Garan. Emily McLogan Burskis. Bradley Everett Haas Jr. Trevor Joseph Hardy. Capri Danielle Harrell. Kevin T. Hartman. Kimberly Elizabeth Hartsfield. Andrew Kenneth Harvey. Sohel Mansour Hassanali. Rebecca Nicole Hawkins. Sue He. Evan Matthew Hellman. Oliver Lloyd Perthneck. Anne Kathleen Maloney Hoaxel. Elizabeth Ann Holcomb. Sarah Marie Honig. Yin Ja Wang. Christopher Lee Ivy. Michael James Jacobson. Paul Louis Janowitz. Yukemi Awakezian Jeter. Diana Lingyu Jia. Kyle Aaron Johnson. Meva Kapil. Thomas P. Kelly. Jonathan Rustum Corey. Kaylee Ann Kinney. Hillary Victoria Kistenbroker. Alana Blair Klein. Colleen Marie Kaler. Sarah Jean Coles. Christopher Sean Colmer. Ann Kieran Kavor. Caitlin Elizabeth Krause. Sarah Eileen Keenley. Dong Hyun Kwok. Ali Lakhani. Veronica Marie Lambalat. Nicholas William Lanfear. Michael Hale Lavin. Sean David Lee. Nelson Robert Lease. Jenna Leventoff. Jeffrey Philip Lewis. Ehan Lee. Yin Lee. Scott Matthew Lippert. Jessica Ann Lordi. Hope Liu. Robert William Lucas. Rachel Elizabeth Lyons. Thomas Robert Mayer. Hallie Jerome Majeski. Amanda Catherine Malley. Kelsey Ann Surye Kanashiro Morand. Matthew Eric Marone. Jason Gilberto Martinez. Anthony James Martucci. Jeffrey Lawrence Mazer. Mandy Lynn McNabb. Robert John Merck. Mark Mina McHale. Devin Warner Miller. Emily Carey Miller. Joseph Stephen Miller. Joy Elizabeth Morgan. Morgan Virginia Morissette. Sarah Marie Murphy. Emily Vale Myers. Kyle Jared Miska. Sarah Michelle Nasta. Evelyn Nicole Nelson. Corey Nicholas Niesman. Tuan Ein Nguyen. Andrew Ross Akrak. Oluwayemisi Nicole Olasada. Katrina Ann Otonoga. Daniela Paez. Lauren Mackenzie Page. Stephen James Paley. Theodore Van Doren Perrin III. Mr. Perrin's diploma is being presented by his father, Theodore Van Doren Perrin Jr., the Isabel Carter Wang Professor of Medical Education. Vijayalakshmi Harilal Patel. Daniel Thomas Pashada. Anthony Michael Piccarelli. Morgan Leanne Pierce. Brittany Elizabeth Palmer Pizer. Ariel Michael Plout. Ellen Elizabeth Foley. Ilya L. Polyakov. Trudy Ann Alexia Powell. Richard Frank Protiva. Thomas Jacob Puckett. Bradley James Pustalski. Karalia Stephanie Rajagopal. Michelle Renee Reese. Deanna Kathleen Richards. Benjamin Lee Ristow. Neil Lawrence Robin. Tamara Elizabeth Robinson. Jolanda Marie-Cher Rondon. Catherine Ann Roscoe. Adam Kyle Rosen. Jessica Emily Rubin. Daniel James Raderi. Gary Connor O'Keefe Safer. Paul Stephen Salomon. William John Seymour. Benjamin Alvin Satin. Derek Anthony Scheuer. Gregory Peter Scholand. Kyle Patrick Senish. Leslie Jane Schaefer. Meredith Susan Sharp. John Thomas Sheets. Robert Jeffrey Simmons. Samantha Richmond Smart. Kenneth Edward Smith. Lauren Michelle Solari. Christopher Raymond Sullivan. Haider Sayed. Tyler Bass Talbert. Payne Thomas Tadich. James Joseph Thomas. Princeton Anthony Thompson. Daniel Turpak. Anna Toniolo. Aurelia Tunru. Morella Wana Elena Turk. Lisa Beth Uckman Kirsch. Chaleka Vargas. Daniel Isaac Verkland. Jacob Wagner. Zachary John Walker. Over. Yihan Wang. Caitlin Avery Warner. Nicholas Prescott Weiss. Joshua Thomas Williams. Amy Marie Wonarski. Anthony Robert Yarshak. Gleb Zaslavsky. Yevgenia Yurovich Zubarev.
Mr. Dean, I have the privilege of introducing the successful candidates for Masters of Law. Hamdan Al-Durai. Rashid Al-Hajeri. Nashari Al-Muteri. Abdullah Al-Safar. An Shuale. Maha Jassim. Chen Chenje. Chen Pei Chi. Chen Ying Fong. Chen Jian. Chen Zijian. Dun Jane Cho. Marina Dmitrieva. Dule. Du Rei Zhi. Fan Chen Chen. Gong Tu. Guo Shuai. Guo Wei. Han Shi. Hu Hao Ran. Wang Jiangun. Wang Lingke. Wang Yanbin. Jarospat Isaran Kura. John Shao Ying. Ali Kadioklu. Sonia Capella. Jintana Kampaigu. Petra Kampaigu. Shamus Kortelush. Carson Lee. Li Xinga. Liu Zhuo Hua. Liao Yumong. Liao Zichen. Lin Tong. Liu Juan Yi. Lia Chen. Long Juan. Lu Lu. Yuan Yang. Meng Shao Zhi. Mo Zi Shao. Peng Jane Ru. Peng Chao Shen. Zhou Li Ying. Tipawan Tansawa Dira. Chu Yi Ching. Wang Hai Wo. Wang Ruochen. Wang Tian Zhao. Wang Yi. Wu Yanqing. Shu Dan. Yang Dan Ching. Yang Hao. Yang Shi. Yang Ringxing. Ying Xiao Wan. Yun Jung Ho. Zhang Ai Wen. Zhang Dan Hong. Zhang Duofan. Zhang Hai Fan. Zhang Ming Fan. Zhang Shan Liang. Zhao Di. Zhou Rei Ji. Zhou Chen.
congratulations to all of you, to your family and your friends. Before we end today, I'd like to offer a brief tribute to a retiring faculty member. Calvin Sharp, who can't be here with us today, has been an essential member of the law faculty for 3 decades. Co-author of a leading text in labor law and of a pioneering casebook on international labor law, he has written numerous book chapters and articles in the fields of evidence, labor law, and dispute resolution, taught many courses in these subjects, and established the Center for the Interdisciplinary Study of Conflict and Dispute Resolution. He's also served the law school as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and has been honored for his guidance by the Black Law Students Association. Beyond these tangible contributions, Calvin has been an extraordinary and consistent source of wisdom, counsel, grace, and humanity. Calvin has also achieved in the world beyond the academy. He's held leadership positions in the Association of American Law Schools, the National Academy of Arbitrators, the International Society for Labor and Social Security Law, WCPN Cleveland Public Radio, Just Peace Center for Mediation and Conflict Transformation, and more. He's also a distinguished arbitrator who has published many opinions over the years. Please join me in congratulating Calvin and thanking him for his outstanding career and service to our law school. Well, you're finished. In a moment, the processional will leave the building. We would appreciate all our guests allowing the faculty and graduates to exit the auditorium before leaving your seats. Before you go, I want to quote Robert Frost. He wrote, "Home is the place that when you go, they have to take you in." We are your home. We'll be here whenever you need us. Whenever you need help, whenever you want to come back and hang out, and whenever you feel like pitching in. You are a part of our family. We have to do it. And we'll look forward to it. Thank you all. Good luck.